So for my short assignment, I decided to do whether the Queen of Medba or Brigid of Kildare better represents the character of the Irish people. And after reading what Cahill said about both of them, I personally think that the Queen of Medba represents the character of the Irish people a lot better. Um, with the of Kildare, I feel like she more represents kind of the religious aspect of the Irish people. And even though she is obviously a very strong woman, she is associated with a lot of different myths and legends behind it that happen to have some kind of mysterious quality behind them, like how she took a fetus away from a nun so that she wouldn't be kicked out of her convent. And I feel like the Brigid of Kildare, she represents more the nicer side of Irish people, I guess, the more compassionate. I feel like she's very compassionate, and she even gave her father's sword to the leper because that was all she had to offer at the time, even though she knew that her father wouldn't have been happy about it and he wouldn't have liked it. And I definitely think that Irish people have that kind of kindness within them, but I feel like it doesn't represent them as a whole. Whereas the Queen, she has this kind of like fire in her that I think a lot of Irish people have. When she was talking to the king, she didn't let him put her down, even though he's a king. He's a man. He obviously, at that time, had more power than she did just because he was a man. He's king, and he was like, well, I'm king of this land, and I have more than you do, obviously. And she's like, no, you definitely don't. I gave you all of this. This is all mine, and I've kind of fought to be where I am at. And just because you're king doesn't mean you have more than I do. So she, gets together with him and they get all these things. And she, goes through all this extra stuff to get this bowl just to prove that she's just as worthy as he is and that she's just as strong as she is. And I feel like, even though maybe odds are against her, she still was able to um, show the king that she's still powerful. And I feel like that represents the Irish character a lot, especially when the Vikings came in and invaded Ireland. And with King Brian, how he, even though he, didn't have the strength, Ireland people didn't have the strength that the Vikings did, they still all, banded together to fight against the Vikings. And they ended up winning in the end because they were able to do that. They didn't give up, and I feel like the Queen represents that a lot. And she also has like a lot of good characters that Khalil talks about in the book, like he says, but there is also an unnamed virtue hidden in these trinities, loyalty or faithness. And I feel like the Queen definitely has that. I mean, she describes herself as being generous, handsome, and brave, which she definitely is. I mean, she she's obviously good in battle. She has warlike combat, and she's brave and everything. And so she set these standards for her husband, who felt like he didn't really have to achieve them, which is kind of ridiculous if you really think about it. But she is a powerful woman, especially a powerful Irish woman, and I think that stands out a lot, especially. And she's not the kind of person that's just going to lay around and kind of let things happen, and isn't going to fight for what she believes in. Like I said, she has this fire within her. She's willing to get what she wants. She's willing to go out and do it. And she also Khalil talks about how her ready speech, moreover, is characteristically Irish. We can imagine her first sharp sentences. We'll put that in your mind, on the lips of many a character in modern Irish drama, and this opens up to us an astonishing continuity, from prehistoric Ireland to the present day. So I mean, her character can extend farther to the character of the Irish people even today. It's not just during that time period that she was in. It also extends to now, and I think that's an awesome thing. And I feel like the Brigid of Kildare, she definitely has a lot of good qualities about her, qualities that many Irish people have, but I just feel like, she doesn't necessarily have that, kind of passion and fire within her to, really do what she believes in and whatnot, like Queen of Medby has. And that's all I really have to say.